All right, you loyal listeners. Welcome to another episode of Agency Intelligence Podcast. I am here with Matthew Vega. He is here, the CEO of GAIL, the one, the only, though half, probably three quarters of the genius behind what we know as GAIL out there. He's going to tell you it's his team and everybody else. He's true about that, but don't fool you. Him and his brother are a mastermind when it comes to this type of technology. Matt, or as I like to call him, Mateo, welcome to AI Podcast, brother.
Thank you so much for having us. The last time we did this was fun, so I'm happy that we get to do a part two and give all the listeners an update.
It wasn't very long ago that meeting happened, but before then, at that time, I didn't have a Chat GPT account. I had never used it. That's amazing to me because literally the world has transformed since that. I'll have to look, but it's probably 12, 18 months ago. Yep. I mean, the world literally, and you can only imagine where we're going, in your head. Yep. It's us peasants, us technology peasants that look to you that are like, man, what are they thinking? Right. Yeah. Loyal listeners, real quick, I'm bringing Mateo on because he's been a longtime partner of ours. We've used him inside of our agency. We have created a press release. If you go to our agency's website, where we delivered the press release that, hey, GAIL is coming to work here. It's really funny how the team wrote it up. She's got, when we hired her, she's got 10,000 majors. I can't remember what it is, 23,000 PhDs. She specializes in engineering, but we tell them, but she can't answer insurance questions. She may know the answer, but she can't give it to you, right? And then we went through this whole thing. We created a video, sent it out to our customers. Hey, this is who GAIL is. This is the best way to talk to her. Understand, she talked to her like a human. We gave them tips. It's a constant thing. But we use her for lunchtime, we use her after hours, and we use her as a backup. So we have two main people who answer the phone that we want to, and then we use GAIL as usually to pick up the phone. I think she's answering, if we get around 40 calls, she's answering around 5 to 10 times out of those inbound 40 calls is what we notice that she gets. Sometimes it's 2, depends on how busy my team is. But there we go. I just wanted you guys to know, if you can tell, we use GAIL. Okay, it's not, he's not coming on here because I'm like, hey man, how much money can you give me? No, we use GAIL and we educate our clients with it. So Mateo, now that I've set this up for you, brother, tell us about GAIL. You came out of the gates like freaking journalism, right out of the gates at the Preakness, but you kind of got held back, and now you've kind of bumped again, like journalists. If you guys are horse racing fans, you know what I'm talking about. And then here you come back down. Tell us where you were and where you guys are going right now.
Well, man, it's funny because you're absolutely right. We came out publicly to the world a little less than a year ago, and we came out the gates blazing. And what ended up happening was we essentially 150x the volume of our calls on our daily call volume. And so when that started to happen, our systems just started to break left and right. If there was anybody here that was using GAIL in like November, December, January, you guys might recall it got a little bit bumpy sometimes. And the reason for that was the infrastructure was literally breaking. We went from making a few thousand calls a day to making almost 150,000 calls every single hour. So a couple million.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And what I compare it to all the time is it's almost like a truck. You might put a big trailer behind a truck that's meant to carry 10,000 pounds and it does a kick-ass job there. The moment you throw a 30,000 pound trailer, it might be able to push it a little bit, but it's not going to have the same performance. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what happened. So we had to rebuild the product from scratch, all the technology, everything. And we finally got into a good spot now, like in March and April, which is why now folks may realize they're starting to see a bigger GAIL presence publicly again. Mm-hmm. And the other really cool thing that we did was we realized that a lot of customers or a lot of people in the insurance industry had never really met or used an industry specific AI. In this world, in particular, is insurance. And so to trust a voice AI right out the gates when you've never used a technology like that we realized was scary for a lot of folks.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm really proud to announce today is that we're releasing GAIL GPT. And what that's going to basically be is Chat GPT for insurance. And what's really cool about that is it's a low touch, low risk way for insurance folks to start getting more comfortable with insurance specific AI. Once they meet GAIL, they see GAIL as helpful, they see GAIL is trained well on insurance and can answer questions, then they can promote GAIL to start answering questions for their customers.
Interesting. So you didn't come in the back door, you came in the side door. I like that.
We always talk about GAIL is that we want GAIL to be your employee, but before you start giving GAIL the responsibilities of jumping on call with your customers, some folks may want to meet it in a different way and have it help internally. So you guys were unique. You guys were ready to go out the gates because you guys adopt technology relatively quick, but some people aren't. So now we're going to be releasing Insurance GPT basically, and it'll give everybody a highly compliant, highly trained, super safe insurance AI that they can start to use. And it's also a little bit cheaper too. So if you're on a budget, gives you a great way to start using AI right out the bat.
That's fantastic. All right, you unloaded a lot there. Where are we getting? Let's talk about this Chat GPT. Where did you learn from? Did you tap into another LLM, some insurance? Where are you getting this knowledge base from?
We use a bunch of different things. So we do piggyback off some of the third-party LLMs, which helps with a lot of the conversational components. But when it comes specifically to the insurance knowledge, the way that GAIL responds to particular questions, the way it's able to cite laws and statutes, that's a layer of training that we ourselves did. And so we have our own research team. We developed a bunch of tools in-house to train the AI. And so that second layer of training was all us feeding it insurance-specific resources.
Okay.
And so it's really cool. Let's say you want GAIL to evaluate an email you're getting ready to send. Then let's say you accidentally mention in the email the wrong auto limits in the state of Florida. GAIL will not only correct you and tell you, hey, these are the actual limits, but GAIL will actually give you the statute to cite from in case you want to go look back and do your own research. Or let's say you're working on something a little bit more complex. Like I just heard of this thing called the ERISA rules the other day, ERISA. I didn't know what it was.
ERISA rules, yep.
And so sure enough, looked it up using GAIL GPT, and it was able to cite the exact laws, statutes, and give me a pretty good explanation that was super helpful. And so
hold on, Matt. So I'm going through and I'm having a conversation with my client. Is it real time giving me that, or it's after the call I'm going through and looking at that transcript?
So you'd have to go into the system and click on it and then ask it like very simple Chat GPT.
That's cool. Yeah. I just wanted to see that. And if I wasn't seeing it, I know they're not seeing it, but now that makes sense. So I'm having the conversation, loyal listeners. We're talking about this, law in Florida or something that ends the conversation that we didn't say correctly, or maybe we just didn't know. We need to look it up, right? Then you can go into GAIL and you could actually, because the recording's in there, and you could actually use the GPT-like thing that would analyze your call. Yep. So you can see where this is going, loyal listeners. Because after a while, you won't have to go there for it to analyze your call. You're going to see where it's going to analyze, it's going to give, and what's going to happen. And me and Mateo and Tito talked about this 12 months ago. It's when it starts coming in, Matthew, and we start ripping that information off real time and getting it into the Raider or into the portal where we can make the change before you get off the call. Yep. Boom, there's your premium. There's all your differences and everything that's there. That's where we're going. And Mateo says, guys, give me a little time, right?
Absolutely. We'll be announcing a new round of funding, and part of that round of funding was we put together an entire integrations team. And so a lot of those integrations that folks have been asking for, and that a lot of that functionality we'll be giving. And really quickly on the GPT side, I think some cool stuff that we'll be able to do. And this is going to help especially a lot of the agency owners or managers. A lot of times you may want to have access to a compliance officer. You may want to have access to a VP of finance or whatever. The cool thing that you'll be able to do now with GAIL is GAIL's going to come with different personas. And so now GAIL will have a persona of a compliance officer. And so you can upload documents on it, and GAIL's now going to answer those questions as a super intelligent expert insurance compliance officer. Same
Okay.
thing with VP of Finance. If you want a claims manager too, what's really cool is you'll be able to upload different types of documents, first notice of loss, images of vehicles or property damage, and GAIL will be able to give you an assessment as to, hey, this is how much it's going to cost to fix. This is the estimated work. Oh, do you
Bam.
have the policy language? I can write the denial. I can write the notice of denial right now if you do. And then let's say you're a commercial broker. Maybe you want to upload travelers insurance guidelines, and maybe you want to create your own GPT persona called Travelers Underwriter. You now be able to upload the travelers guidelines into the GPT and upload your customer information and say like, hey, will this pass underwriting? And so super, super powerful. And to your point, if they end up using the voice AI as well, in addition to the GPT, that's exactly what you were talking, Cass, where GAIL will be able to look back on those interactions that it's having with your customers, and it'll be able to answer questions based off of that as well.
Uh,
And so it's a great way now to where not only will GAIL be able to answer, or not only will GAIL be able to speak with your customers, but if you use the voice AI as well, GAIL will be able to give you insights based off the conversation it's having.
yeah, you guys have really stepped it up. You guys have really stepped it up. Let me ask you this. I have a feeling that I know this answer. Jeff Bezos said that one of the things that he really, looking back, realized that while everybody was worried about their competitors, they stayed laser focused on what their customers' needs were.
Yep.
It seems to me that none of your competitors are doing this. So that means that you must have been listening and saying, hey, this is needed. Did you hear about this from customers? What brought this along, Mateo?
It was always my brother and I are big historians on business, and we were very fortunate. We got backed by some guys, by a group founders fund. And they have this they love what they refer to as like verticalized software. And what that is you take these software, these generic technologies, and you make them hyper focused for an industry. Kind of like what Vertafore did. Vertafore took CRMs and made it hyper focused for insurance.
Gotcha.
So we realized there was a massive opportunity to take all this stuff with AI and build it specifically for insurance because it's so nuanced. You take something like ChatGPT, incredible technology, but they're doing God knows what with your data. We know that there are people in the insurance industry who want that type of technology, but with a data architecture that makes them feel safe. And so we just started thinking about it. And then to your point, you're absolutely correct. Our customers wanted it as well. And so what we saw was we might have some customers that are having GAIL answer 10, 15, 20 calls, 1,000 calls a day. And they didn't want to have to go look through all the transcripts to see, hey, what trends are we seeing today? Hey, what's GAIL up to today? They wanted to be, because they see GAIL as an employee, they wanted to have a conversation with it. And so now they're able to have a conversation with GAIL through the GPT. In a few months, they'll be able to press they'll be able to press a microphone button, and they'll be able to actually have a conversation with GAIL using voice. And so everything that we come up with, it comes from the customers. I wish I could say I was super smart and came up with this stuff, but we're just good listeners, and that's where everything comes from.
So, Mateo, where I see this going is I see one spot, right? I think in the future, we see all these different platforms and this futuristic stuff. I think we almost go back to the Google thing of the white picture with just a little search bar. And if I have AMS 360 or I have applied, or it doesn't matter.
Yep.
You're going to go there and say, customers calling in, I need to know this. Yep. And it's going to go do all the shit for you and then come back and say, here, it doesn't matter if you need to go to your bank. You're going to go to the same prompts and you're just going to, and it's going to, it's like your main server that you ask questions to, and then these bots just go do it. It's kind of like having a social calendar and where all you have like your LinkedIn and your Facebook and you have all this stuff hooked up, and then it just does it and it presses out there. I could see that one location. We've all, especially in business, have been waiting for that software that's going to be one platform that we log in and it just goes, right?
Yep.
And, I think if you can autonomize or put some kind of ID on a bot that'll allow it to get past the login thing because it recognizes only Cass's bot could be having that ID. I see that as one spot. What do you think about that? Am I seeing that wrong, or take
No,
it further?
you're seeing it absolutely correct. And the crazy thing is, I'll send you a sneak peek of it later. 'Cause it's still confidential, but we've actually built out a version of what you just said. And so the cool thing is in the future, we see it very much as you go into this GPT like experience and you tell GAIL, hey, GAIL, call all the leads that came in over the weekend. If they don't answer, send them a marketing message through the newsletter. Go into my QuickBooks, take a look at my financials from the last 90 days, project my upcoming 90 days, go into my agency Zoom, take a look at what my pipeline it looks like, project what the likelihood that we close X, Y, and Z into premium.
Right. That's what
And
it
then
is,
all of it
Matthew.
comes back to a single report.
That's what it is,
And it's
Matthew.
interesting. We have that built internally in what we call a demoware. And so we built it internally to start testing it. And it's one of those things where it's a technically complex thing, and so it's like a math puzzle. It's fun, but it is going to take time to get there. But you're seeing the vision absolutely correct, and I think probably in less than 12 months we'll have a version of that out for the public to see, probably by the end of 2025.
Guys, I say it all the time. If you hear me speaking, you're not going to recognize what you do in 10 years. In 5 years, some of you may, it may be drastically different if you work for the Insurance Alliance or Foresight Insurance with Michael Cruz. But like, it's going to be completely different and it's going to be so much better. It really, truly is. Here's my prediction, and this is the way I feel, Mateo. In the next 5 to 7 years, you probably won't see many job losses. You'll see efficiencies get redeployed to productivity.
Absolutely.
I'm going to say after 5, 7, 10, 12 years, I think you'd be silly. I'm speaking for myself, everybody here. I would be silly to tell you that there wouldn't be job losses. It's just going to come to the point that we're going to get so efficient at what we're doing that I hate to say it, it's the licensed people that will go away. And I know that just sounds crazy. All you loyal listeners, you're like, what in the hell is Cass absolutely lost it? No, I'm still on my medication. What I'm telling you is that when you think about an agency that has 10 people, it's and 8 of them are licensed and 2 are VEs today, that's going to go to 2 to 3 licensed. And you're still going to have probably those 1 or 2 or 3 VEs that have to manage the bots. That it's not, the sophistication's not going to be there. I would say in 2035, you'll have so much sophistication on these bots. They'll be so good. I think you would probably start to eliminate your VEs a little bit. I believe that 1 or 2 people in an agency are going to be able to handle 5, 10 million in revenue, which 1 or 2 people can't hire 500,000 in revenue. But for us, Mateo, I don't know about you. Let's kind of fade off on this. The things we're doing on ChatGPT that used to take us 30 minutes is now taking us 5 minutes, and it's a lot better. That is, if people are thinking about 30 minutes to 5 minutes. This isn't like, hey, if you do it this way, instead of it being 30 minutes, it'll be 20, 25 minutes. I mean, this is a severe savings. And when you think about, if I could save 30 minutes in everything that I do, 30% of 24 is 8. That's 8 hours you could get back in your day. And that's where we have to start saying, do we have enough productivity for that efficiency, or do we start changing our lives? What do you think about that, brother, man?
I think you're on the money there. Like we see it ourselves now. We are the biggest users of GAIL GPT. And so like we don't even use ChatGPT here at the company anymore. I think that's my goal for the insurance industry. Everybody just no longer use ChatGPT, but use GAIL GPT. And a lot of it's become because one of the things that we realized was, let's say you're using something like ChatGPT or Claude, because even though it might save you, instead of let's say you're drafting a message to a customer, that message without ChatGPT might have taken you 30 minutes in the past. ChatGPT now puts that email together for you in 10 seconds, but you still probably have to spend another 5, 10, 15 minutes just making sure that everything checks out from a compliance perspective and all of that.
That's right.
And so it still saved you 50 to 60% of the time, which is phenomenal, but you still have to spend a bunch. Here, what we do is when you ask it to put together that denial notice for you, you can rest assured that it's being done so in a compliant manner. If you upload a first notice of loss and you have to send it to your claims adjusters, you now don't have to worry about, is this formatted properly? Did this AI format it in the way that they're going to want it? You can give it the instruction that, hey, Cass is going to want it in this format, and it's going to spit it out to you again in a compliant manner. And so I think you're on the money there, where you are going to see these crazy efficiency gains where some people are actually going to be like, what do I do with the rest of my day? This stuff used to take me 8 hours. Now it's taking me less than one. What do I do with the rest of my day? And what we're seeing right now so far, especially with these smaller agencies, is it gives them more time to go hunting.
Yep.
So that's probably, I would say, the biggest impact that we've seen right now is it's opening up people to go hunt more. And it's funny, what we've seen is a lot of people have started to use GAIL to almost put their personal P&C business on autopilot, since so many things are cookie cutter. And then they themselves go out to hunt the commercial business, which makes sense. If I'm selling somebody a policy that's $100,000 for D&O insurance, they're going to want to talk to somebody, and the margin's going to be there to where you can actually pay a commission to a commercial broker and stuff. And so it's really interesting. I think you're going to see a lot of people start to go towards the commercial side where there's bigger bucks, because they cannot put this stuff on autopilot. And so I think it's going to be really, really interesting where the insurance industry goes in the next couple of years.
Oh, dude. It's going to be unbelievable. It really, truly is. And that's why you need to come on January 27th, 28th, and 29th to BrainShare and Indie Tech in Fort Lauderdale. You're going to see Mateo there. It's just a drive right up the road for him. He's down there in Miami. But we will be right there. And you need to come.
It's right after my 30th birthday, which means we're gonna have to celebrate.
Well, believe me, we will be celebrating. The DJ, the official DJ of the St. Louis Cardinals, is a friend of mine, and I'm flying him in. It is going to be a fantastic time. It's going to be great.
And best time in Miami, and best time in Florida, weather-wise.
Yes, you darn right, baby. That's why I picked that time. But I want you guys to know that it's all going to be about learning this. Seriously, right now, agencies are creating their own LLMs. They're creating their own agentic AI, which is running a bunch of bots inside their agency. They're already doing this. You're going to see and hear new stuff like you do with this GAIL GPT. This is a very, very important thing that by the time 2026 comes in January, it's going to be different than it is right now. I'm going to tell you this right now, what we're developing in our business and our agency, we're going to be operating different. And I can't wait to share that with you and all the other agents out there. Mateo, 30 seconds, wrap it up while we get out of here.
Wrap it up. I'd say I'm gonna give a bold prediction.
Come on.
I'm gonna give a bold prediction. I think by already 2026, I think more than half of the insurance community, or the insurance community in the United States, will use some sort of domain specific AI. I think where we've been now with this generative AI for 2 years, people have had enough time to play with. And I think over the next couple of months is when you'll really start to see the adoption take off. And by the end of the year, I do think more than half of the insurance community will be using some form of domain-specific AI.
Did you hear that? Most of you have no clue what AI is. Most of you have no clue what domain-specific is. Most of you have no clue what agentic AI is. I just have to tell you, I just talked to my team that we have a ChatGPT meetings on Friday, every Friday at 11:30. All of my employees, my leadership on, there's around 50 of us, and we meet. And that's what we do, Mateo. I just want them to know how to use it. Like, let's start having conversations about how we're utilizing this thing. And I want you guys, loyal listeners, that's a great place to start. There's people already in your office that are already utilizing it in ways. We have 3 new people, not new, but they're now are using ChatGPT because of the things. And it's really funny to watch them. Mateo, it's like, they're like a kid growing up. They're like, whoa, did you see it did this? And then you start to see them use it in their life. My wife is one. 2 months ago, she didn't use it. I bought her the $20 thing. Now she goes up and she'll go take pictures of a fish, and it'll tell her what kind of fish it is and how old the fish is. And I mean, she just loves this damn thing.
It's insane. And I also tell people, the listeners out there, you don't have to it almost sounds overwhelming for new people because they think, oh my God, I have to automate all these different workflows and stuff. It's like, absolutely not. Just pick one super simple thing. Like, maybe it's just uploading documents for translations. Maybe it's just a quick policy summary. Maybe it's just asking you some basic questions. Start
Mhm.
off super small with highly targeted use cases. If you try to go too wide with too many use cases, you're going to end up overwhelming yourself and it's going to be a horrible experience. And so to anybody out there that's trying to figure out how do I start, pick one use case. It could be as simple as getting help writing an email. You'll have a much better experience if you start off super targeted on day one.
Yeah, especially that's good stuff. Hey, thank you very much,
Of course.
Mateo, for taking your time to come on over here to Agency Intelligence Podcast. Hey, loyal listeners, if you haven't been able to tell here, this is not going to stop. I'm going to keep talking about this stuff. I'm going to keep talking about this stuff because Jeff Roy in 2018 said something. And I think we think about the wrong thing. He said it will not be AI that replaces agents, but agents who use AI will replace those who don't. Now, what we do is we kind of concentrate on that endpoint and we say, will replace those who don't. I believe that Mateo, I believe me, I believe people who believe in the independent insurance system have an obligation to those people who don't. Because we have a misconception that those people who don't are feeling that way because they don't want to progress. That's not true. Very few of them say, "Oh, I'm going to stick my head in the sand." Very few. I'm talking like 20%. The other 80% are like, "Hey, I'm going to be one of those that don't because I don't know what to do." Right? And I think we have an obligation. Listen, it's not a scarcity mindset, it's abundance mindset. You want your competition down the road. The more independent insurance agency systems or agents we have, the more market share we get. The more market share we get, the more our companies can grow, and our agencies as well. Right. So we have to start looking at technology as being a scalable thing that makes your efficiencies drop in ways you've never even contemplated and redeploying that in productive ways that you've never even contemplated. I'm going to leave you with this thought, agency owners. You've been operating your business for the last 5 to 10 years. You know that you're growing 8%, 10%, 2%, 5%, 15%, whatever it is for you. And you know that on average, it doesn't change much. Sometimes it goes up, sometimes it goes down. And a lot of times it goes up even further when rate increases go up. But you know that you have a baseline. That baseline can be measured. You can say to yourself, how many more employees are you going to go hire? How many more producers are you going to go get trying to increase productivity when you need to increase the efficiency first and redeploy to production? That's what we have to do. How do you do that? You start looking at a tool like GAIL. That's going to start. Efficiency is doing the same with less, right? So we are able to do the same things with less people because we are shifting it to a technology that should be taking that, what we call in the future, a layer. And that's the layer that needs to handle that. So this is where we have to really start thinking to ourselves. We have an obligation to this industry to help each other get through this. And it's going to make us all better. It really is. It's going to make us all better. It's going to give our clients the customer experience that they deserve. You know what I do because I do it for you. Tell me your thoughts and tell me your ideas. And I'm going to tell the world what you have to say. This has been Cass. He's Mateo. We are out.